Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Bourbon, Beer, and Balls. I'm Joe Zerolo.
I'm John Campus.
And we got a good podcast scheduled for you today. We're going to start off with what we're doing, a little taste of a bourbon. We thought we got some requests from people to try Traveler, and it's a Buffalo Trace whiskey. Not a real expensive whiskey. Everyday price. I think retail you can get it at the store for around $40, $45. Again, I have not had this before. I don't believe John has.
Nope.
So let's give it a go. Traveler from Buffalo Trace. It's a generic bottle, nothing fancy about the bottle. Just a generic label. You know, old school looking, I guess. You know, like bootlegging days,
Yeah,
I would say,
it's
right?
pretty simple looking.
Yeah, it's pretty.
One little label right here.
Yeah, one little label, nothing fancy. It gives me kind of the vibe of the Prohibition days, right?
Sneak it in and sneak it out.
It's got a light color, bronzy almost kind of color.
I'm a little bit disappointed as I measure my drink compared to JoJo's. I think he's got me beat today.
I might, and I did do the pours.
Give it a shot, bro.
You know, not a light aroma too. Smooth to the tongue. What do you think of that one, John? I think you're gonna like that one.
I don't know how smooth it is, but I'll hold my comments for a little bit.
All right.
That first one had a little punch on it.
Yeah, I thought it was again, my palate was a little bit different, a little more
sophisticated.
It wasn't smooth, I thought. A little creamy. Yeah, it's a nice, refreshing bourbon.
What I try to do is take little sips.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Smell, take little sips, and I can tell you that first one, it kind of kicked me.
Okay.
But that was my third one.
All right.
And I think I'm going to change my mind.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't as bad. It wasn't as bad as I thought.
Yeah, it's nothing really to the aroma. But yeah, it's I thought it was a little smooth going in. Not a lot of bite. A little creamy too. A little creamy.
I'm getting that.
Are you? Yeah.
Yes, I am. Yep. I really like this bottle. I like that.
Yeah, sometimes
that catches your eye when you
go
to a
It
store.
does. Sometimes being simplistic is kind of a better approach, and I just can't get away. And it looks like, you know, back in the day when the mafiosos were bottling up some moonshine and stuff. It's kind of got that old school look of Prohibition, which I like. It's unique to itself just because of that, you know. Almost like like an old time medicine label.
Yes, it is.
You know what I mean?
Like way back in the day when someone would pull their wagon across the country selling all kinds of stuff.
Sell you my snake oil. Now this ain't snake oil. This is a decent bourbon, Traveler. I don't want to throw anyone under the bus.
That's funny.
But yeah, it's a good price point. Like I said, if you're looking for something reasonable that isn't too, it's relatively refreshing to the palate. You know, I would call it an everyday whiskey. I don't recommend drinking whiskey every day, but in other words, if you're sitting at home, hey, I don't want to splurge on anything, but you know, I want a little pop of something. I think that would be the whiskey.
I agree.
You know, it's not a bad bourbon. You know, Traveler. Of course, we have it here at the Whiskey Bar at the Tavern at Patriots Glen, which is located at Patriots Glen Golf Club. And again, we're coming to you from our Whiskey Bar. We're sitting in front of our Betsy Ross flag today, drinking some old school whiskey.
Old school whiskey. We're traveling with the travel.
Yeah, it's good. Well, while we sip on this good bourbon, Traveler bourbon, we thought we would touch on the debacle, the outrageous circumstance. I don't know, however you want to label it.
PGA showcase.
Yeah, really, the shit show.
Yes.
Of Scheffler.
Yep.
You know, it happened after our last week's podcast, but I think if anyone's a golf fan or a sports fan, and probably saw it in the general news anyway.
No doubt.
Scottie Scheffler, basically ranked the #1 pro golfer in the country, had a little run-in with the police, John.
Yeah, he kind of stole the show, and how quickly all of that information just circulated across the country.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
was a social media
worldwide, really.
explosion.
Yeah, it really was.
I mean, it was not the norm.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, and not being there, so we can only speak to what's been printed or in the news media. But I've done some reading on it from reputable news sources, and it sounds like. Let me give you just a brief synopsis. It was early in the morning. It sounded like they had someone who was killed
right
on location by a bus, and the police were there, obviously, investigating, doing what they normally do, making sure everyone's safe, trying to maintain the scene,
and that process takes time.
It does.
It takes a lot of time.
And for full disclosure, for people who may not know, I'm actually a retired police officer. So I do have, and I spent over 2.5 decades in law enforcement, and so I do have some knowledge on how it would work, So, and I might be a little slided to law enforcement side, looking through that prism.
Yeah.
But apparently they're on scene, trying to keep the scene safe, keep the scene secure, do the proper investigations techniques so they can determine what went on. So they were keeping people from coming in, I guess.
Yep.
And in a line, there was cars in a line, and the police were preventing people from coming in.
Right. It was a pedestrian. It was someone walking that got struck by a bus.
Right.
So I'm sure that, like most golf courses, it's not like there's 35 different roads to get in. It's typically one in and one out.
Right.
So I mean, it slowed the process down.
Right. So again, this was early enough where I guess they were keeping people from getting into the location for the day. Sounds like there was a line of traffic cars, and it was being maintained by law enforcement. At some point, in his great wisdom, he decides to pull out of the traffic line and drive through where the police are stopping him. I guess he was so impatient and so important that he had to get there. And at some point, obviously, the police are trying to maintain the scene, maintain the safety. They're trying to stop him, drives right by the police. Now, there's some contradictions to whether he dragged the police officer on the car, whether the cop was holding on to the car. But the cop was definitely driving along the car, trying to get this guy to stop, hollering at him, witness indications that he was hollering at him to stop, hollering to stop. At some point, the law enforcement officer fell. Now, I think Scheffler's camp is trying to say the cop was holding on to his car. Well, I'm telling you, if he's telling you to stop, you're not trying to stop, and he's holding on to your car and you keep going, then that's your fault.
Well, my comment, while you were explaining that scenario, I was thinking about my sons, my 2 boys, young adults, 22, 24. And I have always took this stance. And so my comment to that situation, I don't care what's going on.
Sure.
If a cop says to do something, you do it.
Right, that's right.
You don't need to be explained to. You don't need to have a full understanding of what's taking place. It wasn't like it was one cop in one car.
Right.
The scene.
Right. If you look at some of the photos and videos of that, there's no mistaking that there was some type of emergency situation
It's
going
not
on.
A misunderstanding.
No.
It's not.
More important than any golf game, I'll tell you that.
No doubt.
Especially when we're talking about loss of life.
Absolutely.
But for some reason, this Jamoke took it upon himself to pull out of traffic. And let me go through it because, that's what Scottie Scheffler does. You know what I mean?
I'm the man.
I'm the man. #1 golfer in the world. You know what I mean? So, but this doesn't apply to me. I mean, hey, this is my interpretation. I'm being a little sarcastic about it, but.
Well, I use this all the time. The rules apply to everyone but me.
Yeah, exactly.
That was the situation.
Especially when he wasn't even the first guy in line. I mean, he was back several vehicles.
Yep.
There was, the report I read was there were some sportscasters in a van. He actually went around and drove by them, so they had some witness accounts. where the police officer was yelling at him, stop. I mean, how do you not listen to a cop when you're looking at an emergency situation? Lights on. I mean, it's outrageous in my point. I think society is kind of going down that slippery slope for whatever reason.
I think they are down it.
Yeah.
They're not traveling down it. Yeah. They are down it. It's, again, it goes back, the rules apply to everyone but me. Everybody, society has a platform now, and I think it's a spin-off from the COVID time, and there's 400 million cell phones and videos and cameras in the country, but everyone has a platform now, and everybody thinks they supersede what's taking place at that particular moment.
Right, absolutely. And I'm curious because I guess the initial appearance, whatever they call it down there, I'm not sure, but his initial appearance has been pushed back. I know there were some rumors of the charges being dropped. I do not believe that has actually happened. I believe they pushed back the initial appearance of like the first week of June. So what and I give everyone actually the benefit of the doubt.
Sometimes I don't.
Everyone makes mistakes for whatever reason. I'm going to judge him, Scheffler, based from this point on now. I mean, I'm already prejudging him a little bit on what he did. It was a little silly and ridiculous and a little bit of entitlement kind of a situation. But now how does he react to this? How does he respond to this? Is he apologetic? Is he humble? Is he contrite? You know what I mean? I need to see some of that.
I think he should man up and he should simply say, I overreacted.
Sure.
I'm dialed into my singular golf schedule. I needed to be bubble of the world. I like it. Yeah. I needed to be somewhere at a certain time to prep for this. I overreacted and I apologize. And whatever happens, happens.
I was immature. Whatever you want to say. I think he needs to fall on that sword.
There's no misunderstanding.
No, there really
at that time.
There really is.
You can't make an excuse to justify what you did.
What's his excuse? I listen to officers when I want to listen to them.
Right.
I mean, it's just ridiculous. And I think the officer actually got hurt because he fell. However that transpired, hurt his knee, etc. So hopefully, once cooler heads prevail, we'll see how it ends up. But again, I would say it's outrageous behavior.
Yes.
Law enforcement's out there to protect the public. They actually had an active emergency scene, trying to keep him safe as well, because he doesn't even know what's ahead of him.
There could have been a shooter down.
Could have been anything. Could have been anything. And believe all law enforcement is given the authority through society, through government, through the public, and they're I used to say cop is champion of the people. You know what I mean? So they're there to protect you, and just give them the due respect that they need.
Let's spin it a little bit. Let's just say in one of the multiple times that he has won a tournament and the crowd's going crazy and stuff, if some goofball fan runs out and bangs into him,
exactly,
the first thing he's going to say is, where were the cops? Where were the officers? How does that allow? How is that allowed?
Me safe, right? Exactly. Yeah, and I'm sure if you flip it even more, if that was a family member of his,
no doubt,
that was unfortunately killed and loss of life, he would have wanted all the stops pulled out to make sure that everything was done correctly, everyone was safe.
And he would have been the first one to say, no golf tournament is more important than a life.
Absolutely.
So I agree.
Curious to see what some of our watchers, our viewers think. Let us know in the comments, reach out to us. Let us know what you think about this Scheffler debacle, the Scheffler shit show. You know what I mean? Come on.
I like the SSS.
Yeah,
the Scheffler shit
it's
show.
It's unbelievable.
But I also love debacle. I get my wife busts my balls all the time because I use that. She says I use that word too.
I might have picked it up from you.
I like it. I like it.
So, anything going on that we want to bring up coming up? Golf, tap?
Well, I know that in the next month, right around the corner, June, we have a ton of golf tournaments. We have a ton of events. I think it's roughly three out of the 4 weeks we have multiple events in that week alone. So I think I may be wrong, but I think we have 9 events coming up in the month of June.
Yeah.
Very, very busy.
Very busy.
We're right on the verge here of exploding. with regards to the number of golfers that will be coming to the course. And I mean, this is the time of the year that golf jumps.
Yeah.
So we're in anticipation. We're ready for it. But very busy June coming up.
Very busy June. I think very busy summer.
Yep.
We've got a list of all the events coming up, tournaments, so forth. And as we have these podcasts, we'll let everyone know. Yeah, very active. Should be breaking a little ground on the driving range too, John, right?
Finally, yes. Roughly 2.5 weeks, we're scheduled to pour the concrete
pad,
and prep for the vertical building. The vertical building will come probably a month or so later.
Okay.
But in the meantime, we'll get some new pads, and we'll get some buckets of balls and stuff, and we will softly open the driving range for the public.
Yeah.
And then obviously shut it back down when we start building the vertical structure.
Yeah, it's my understanding once they pour the pad, they're going to allow it to be used for some driving range
Correct.
activity and so forth. Yeah, that.
Yep. So
Then just because of scheduling conflicts, a month or so after the
Correct.
contractor's coming in, they're going to build the in-range driving range. You want to touch on that one more time?
Sure,
Just
yeah.
update
We're going to have
everybody?
a double-decker driving range, 23 bays on the top, 23 bays on the bottom. We'll have all the bells and whistles with all of our screens and all of the technology. Everything will be heated. And in my opinion, one of the reasons why we chose in-range is the global competitor to Topgolf. And Topgolf on the driving range side, it's called Top Tracer. And it's every one of those golf balls have a little chip in it. And then they register when the ball drops down through your little targets and stuff. But the one knock that I do not like about Topgolf Top Tracer is you cannot play a specific course.
It's only certain holes, right?
It's just certain holes from that course.
Yeah.
But within range, and that's what we're going to have here at Patriots Glen, within range, we can have 3 feet of snow out on the course, and you can play Patriots Glen at our driving range.
Yeah.
We can play St. Andrews, we can play Pebble Beach, we can play all 18 holes. And the cool thing is we'll have the technology where you can dial in on your phone, order your wings, your beer, and pay for it on your phone, and you don't have to stop swinging. Our staff will bring it out to the range.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it too. I know when we were doing our research, going around to the different venues who had similar technology, really great time.
So fun.
So much fun. I mean, I think it's going to be, if you're not even an avid golfer, you're looking for a day of entertainment, a night of entertainment, you're going to want to come down here once this is fully open and participate. Because there's going to be games associated with it. You can play different courses.
Multiple games.
I mean,
within the software.
And again, once we get that software up and running, we'll probably do some podcasts out there just to show you what you can and can't do, just to show you what a great entertainment facility it's going to be.
You touched, sorry to cut you off.
You
touched base on the avid golfer, and I know that the avid golfer that they're really looking forward to the range opening up so they can hit 15, 20 balls for warm up before they go.
Right.
But I've always said, and I have no facts to back this, but I've always said that the golf business is a tough business because roughly 10, 20%, I don't know the numbers, 10, 20% of the county are golfers. But when we're going to open this driving range, it's the non-golfers that we're providing an opportunity to. So there's another, so we're basically opening up that business, opening up that market to 90 or 80%.
Sure.
I can tell you right now, my 2 sons are going to come here and they're going to swing the hell out of the clubs and hit it as hard as they can and have a ball at the range.
Well, even for a date night, you want to come out, you're looking for some type of entertainment. Never golfed before in your life, you can go out here and I'm telling you, it's going to be that kind of experience, that kind of event. You're going to be able to get food and drink out there. There's going to be areas where you can sit and lounge, tables, little couches, chairs, etc. I do believe, John, are we still going to have a couple bays that are larger than other bays?
Yes, for like corporate outings or like, so you could rent that larger bay out and you can bring a dozen people in there.
That's right.
And play a tournament.
Yeah, if you want to have a corporate outing, team building kind of situation, that's going to be the place to do it. I mean, you could mother it up, sister it up, or however you want to say it, with our whiskey room that we have available for corporate events. You might want to be having a meeting, break from the meeting, and then have a little team building out there. You know what I mean? So there's be some synergy, definitely, from what's going on in here to what's going on in there. I mean, I'm extremely excited about it. Again, full disclosure, I golf, but I'm not an avid golfer.
Yep.
But I'm telling you, you're probably going to be, hey, where's Joe? Joe's going to be out in that driving range so much time, because it is a blast.
Can I pump the brakes and slide back into a touchy topic? You mentioned the fact a couple times. You mentioned the entitlement.
Yeah.
It's still a head scratcher to me in this golf world that we are operating in. As an example, recently we had someone send an email complimenting. We have a fantastic owner, Mike Brown.
Yeah.
We have a fantastic team. This is a great place to work at.
Yes.
Not one time did I wake up and hit the alarm and say, shit, I gotta go to work. It's the other way around. It's like, yeah, I get to go to work.
They can't wait to get in here.
But, so anyway, so someone sent a rather lengthy thank you. Man, you're doing a great job. You're doing a great job.
I think I saw it, yeah.
However, these greens are too slow.
Yeah.
What are you going to do about it?
Right.
I mean, it's never good enough. The amount of energy
that
and
email,
resources.
when I saw that email, it was not so much a review as, let me give you my opinion. Let me tell you what you guys aren't doing. You know what I mean?
Did anyone ask for that opinion?
Yeah, it was great. It was. I mean, if you want to give a review, that's fine. But the always wanted to interject. Yeah, this is great, but there's a lot of work going on here, guys, and this has come a long way. This not only the clubhouse, the tavern, the whiskey bar, of course. I can tell you, our grounds crew is working tirelessly. I mean, as we speak, they're out there working tirelessly. Not only to bring it up, which they have from where it was when we took it over, because it was highly neglected, but to continuously make those improvements so our patrons have the best experience they can have with it.
And our course is a little bit unique. So we're as you come out of Elton, you come up Red Hill Road. We're up on a knoll here, and to simplify it, we've got a golf course built on about 35 feet of red clay.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So it's
challenging.
It's very challenging, and the art of keeping this turf green is challenging.
Sure.
Where most golf courses have 18 inches or 6 feet of like fertile soil, we don't. We have inches.
That's right.
So it's a huge challenge to maintain a green golf course here in comparison to other courses. And I've worked at multiple courses over the years.
Yeah, John's got a lot of experience.
So, I mean, we're kicking ass here. And it's agitating when someone says, why don't you do this?
Sure.
How come you're not doing that? And they have no clue. It's such a fine line. We are 1/16 of an inch away from the height that we cut the greens. We're 1/16 of an inch away from losing the greens every July and every August.
Yeah, but we maintain them. And I got to tell you, I believe the greens are in the best shape they've ever been. Ever been. I mean, they're great. You know, I think you go out in this course, predominantly 98% of people are coming here and saying, oh my God, look what you got.
They're all saying, holy shit.
I can't wait to come back, because it's not just the golf, it's the totality of the experience you have in here when you come in here. It's great. And just to swing back to John's expertise in golf, if you follow us, maybe you've realized we started doing every Friday. We do Friday Fairway Finesse. And that's John giving some golf tips. John's a very good golfer. He's very athletic, knows his stuff. He's been a coach in multiple sports, trainer. He knows what he's talking about. So if you need some tips, John's the guy to watch. We come out every Friday with that. And it's been very, very popular. I mean, people are really enjoying it. And a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
And I'm not perfect. My golf game isn't perfect. My knowledge isn't perfect. But I'd like to think I have a little more of both than the average, and we just go out and we have fun with it. And sometimes I hit the nail on the head, and sometimes I miss. So
that being said, if there's something that you need work on or you need tips on, go ahead and send it in.
I'd love to hear it.
And John will love to hear it. He'll review them all, and he'll try to get to them with some type of episode. They're short, probably under 2 minutes long.
Yep.
You know, keep it short and simple. But they're very informative. They're very fun, and actually it gives you a nice look at the course too, because we do it at different locations. And so tune in for that on Fridays. Look for it on Fridays. It's called Friday Fairway Finesse with John. I think it's great. It's become very popular, and I think it's just going to be to the moon.
And don't hesitate to bust my balls on something.
Yeah.
So I'm wide open.
I
So
got
thank you.
So anything else, John, you got for today?
No, I'm good.
Just a quick recap. We got Travelers Bourbon here from Buffalo Trace Distillery. Nice bottle. It's a simple bottle. We were joking that it reminds us of Prohibition or old medicine bottle.
That's good.
Again, you know Joe, I enjoyed it. I liked it. I think John liked it.
No doubt.
Yep. And we touched on the Scheffler shit show. That's what I'm gonna call it. So read up about it, follow along. I'm curious to see where it ends up. And again, not looking to crucify anybody, don't want to ruin anyone's life. If it was a poor judgment, got caught up in whatever moment he was having a bad day, I get it. But I'm going to judge him based on how he carries himself moving forward.
Good call.
Yeah.
Very good.
And don't forget, we got the driving range going to start breaking ground. We're going to have the pad down. You'll be able to go out there and use the driving range. A month after that, we're going to start building up for our in-range technology, and then it's going to be a blast. And again, we'll do some episodes from there and give you more information.
It's going to be awesome.
And don't forget to tune in on Fridays for Friday Fairway Finesse with John for any kind of golf tips you might have, and fun. We're going to have fun. We're going to make it fun. We're going to have a good time. So, hey, thanks for tuning in again, guys. We enjoyed doing this. Have a great week. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Absolutely. Thank you.